knows how, and when it's finally done, there's a surprise it's not better. And I guess a lot of us have this similar sentiment. And he's obviously approaching this from a very kind of analytical perspective. And I think what he's trying to say here is that he, as an analyst who deals with data and numbers, finds it very difficult to kind of put a lot of this social media stuff into a numerical context or a business context. So what we're going to do today is, this presentation is basically in 3 parts. The first part, we're just going to discuss why there is an issue with measuring ROI, returns on social media campaigns, and in fact why some people believe that there shouldn't be. Then the second part, we're just going to take a look at some success metrics, possible success metrics for social media campaigns, and there'll be some action items there for you to scribble down. And then in the last part, we're going to look at some real social media campaigns and see how they would measure the success and the returns of those campaigns from big and small companies. So let's move on. Oh, okay. So first point is what investment? If we think about ROI, people asking the question, what is the ROI of social media? You can shoot right back at them and say, well, what is the I in the first place? Social media doesn't necessarily have to be this big expensive thing that you hire a PR agency or an advertising agency to build you this multi-million-dollar viral campaign that gets spewed out onto YouTube and gets viewed by tens of millions of people. It doesn't have to be like that. A successful social media campaign can be something that is simple and implemented. I think somebody made this point before. Something that's simple and can be easily implemented by an already existing member of staff, someone who's just taking 5 minutes out of their day to see what's being said about your company or your product on the internet. So, there you go, the animation there. So there doesn't really necessarily have to be a big capital input anyway to begin with, which makes some people ask the question, the counter question. Should there even be ROI? Okay, because it's so easy to implement. We have tools to do it almost automatically. Implement simple social media campaigns. That should we really expect this huge return from it? Another group says that social media is not something that we should be exploiting as a marketing channel. It's not something that we should be using even as a platform to sell. It's more something that's an extension of ethics. It's something that is just fundamental to our business. And if you're not engaging with your customers and not talking to them using these social channels, then you're just going to you're an old school company. You're just going to be left behind. So exactly, but some people say, should there even be a return? Are we looking at it in kind of are we looking at it from an incorrect kind of perspective? I do think that we should expect returns, thankfully. But one of the issues of measuring these returns is that a lot of the benefits that people will tell you are by nature kind of qualitative. These are things that we can't really put a number to. Things like loyalty and trust and passion and brand awareness and things. We can try and approximate it. We can say that loyalty has increased 5% since last month or something like that. But at the end of the day, what does that even mean? I'm not sure if I can place in my head it doesn't even compute. I know that it's good ultimately, but I don't know how good really. So a lot of the benefits that a social media consultant or an advertising agency will tell you about social media are these qualitative things that we can't measure with traditional success metrics. Yes, so this stuff is hard to measure. The other issue, I think people have touched on this already, so I won't go into it too much, is that everything is very fragmented. And not only is it fragmented across hundreds of thousands of different channels, but it's also moving at a very, very fast rate. If we think about something like Twitter, which is essentially it's a very young platform, and I personally, 6 months ago, never even saw the point of it, but now I use it like crack I'm on my iPhone pretty much 15 minutes, every 15 minutes intervals all day checking Twitter, which is rather embarrassing, but that's what an essential service is. It's become to me something that I couldn't even see the value in 6 months ago. So the point of the talk today is that it is possible to measure returns and success and returns from our social media campaigns, but we can't rely on these old traditional kind of success metrics like ROI. But what we can recognize is that a lot of the qualitative benefits that we get out of a good successful social media campaign are undeniably good, and increasing them can only be a good thing. And we can break these down into smaller, more understandable success metrics that translate more efficiently into a business context. So the first point is knowing exactly which needles you want to move. So we're talking about moving all these different attributes of how our brand is perceived or company is perceived. There's millions of these. We could talk about the qualitative ones such as loyalty and authority and influence, or the more quantitative ones such as the number of people we reach or the number of sales we make per month. So the key when you're starting your next social media campaign is to really kind of decide what are the needles we want to move, and more importantly, you have to be very strict about which needles you choose. Maybe a little bit hard to read, but